Hi, this is Randy. Finally getting to do a video outside. It's so nice out. It's about 84 degrees today. It's beautiful. So I want to read some portions of this post that's on yourbrainonporn.com. And it's called, Is My Fetish Porn Induced? It brings up the idea that fetishes and even sexual preferences and orientations can even change based on the amount of porn that you consume and what type. So the article I'm going to start with, if you like science, here's an excellent journal article by a researcher that traces the influence of different phases of conditioning on later sexual tastes. What, where, when, and maybe even why and how the experience of sexual reward connects sexual desire, preference, and performance. This is a really new area and quite unpopular with most sexologists and other therapists, whose model is that sexual tastes are always innate. Period. Foss points out that utter inflexibility would be a losing evolutionary strategy. Successful gene distributors would be able to adapt to new mores and stimuli. The most interesting question is, how much choice does one have once a taste is wired up? That may be dependent on many factors. One, one's unique brain. Some are more plastic than others. 2, your age. 3, when the association was formed. 4, how much it was reinforced. 5, how consistent you are about not continuing to get off to it. And 6, how conscientious you are about spending your time with stimuli that you want to rewire, and so forth. Your brain evolved with fertilization as a top priority. So if you don't keep getting off to or fantasizing about what you don't want to wire up to, eventually many brains will start looking elsewhere. And if nothing hotter is consumed, vanilla cues gradually start to look more enticing. Obviously, this doesn't happen overnight. Brains are plastic, not liquid. One guy described what he's up against. He says, I think those of us who have never or almost never had successful sex and relationships have to go through more of a rewiring process with real women. Rebooting is kind of like reformatting the hard drive to wipe out a virus, but not having a new operating system to replace it. Not just in how we react to visuals, but the communication and emotional side of relating to real women. I'm at a level 0 when it comes to that. It can be very rewarding, or at least educational, to steer for what you want for some months and see what shifts occur. Again, consistency matters. Guys are sometimes astonished at the changes they experience after a few months without porn. Worst case, if someone can't rewire, then acceptance and moderation are options. Both are sexual tastes mutable? That's an article. And Can You Trust Your Johnson is another article. They both discuss how people have successfully dealt with this challenge. There's also been radio shows on it, and I cannot link you to these because I tried to go to them and the information has been taken down at this point. So the article continues. It also pays to understand the difference between sensitization and desensitization. The second heals faster than the first. This is the reason why normal sex will become possible long before you lose your attraction to hot-wired cues. They can take much longer to fade. Here's a good article and quotations from a lot of guys talking about what it feels like when they finally feel the sensitized pathways weaken and disappear. And that leads you to an article called "Why Do I Find Porn More Exciting Than a Partner?" In other words, even if a fetish hangs around for a while, it doesn't mean it's indelibly you. It may be a stubborn, sensitized brain pathway which will need months or even a couple of years to weaken. This conditioning is much deeper than Pavlovian conditioning, but it involves similar mechanisms. After Pavlov's dog was conditioned to salivate at the sound of a bell, it eventually stopped salivating to the bell after the bell had been sounded repeatedly, but no food came. You need to disconnect sexual reward from your fantasies. In other words, stop ringing that bell. Can you change your sexual preferences? In other words, if you have watched so much porn and so much nasty porn that even disgusts yourself when you think about it, and spent hours and days wasting away at your computer, and that's me, I'm not even reading there, then you can change that by giving up porn and going cold turkey on these things that you have been jacking off to. The best way to find out if it works is to give up porn and porn fantasies related to your fetish or your unwanted desire, the thing that you're getting off to that you really don't want. You have to stop reinforcing it with orgasm if you want to change. Many have reversed this condition, but none have done so while still using fantasy to reinforce that reward. A few examples of porn-induced fetishes. Here's one guy's experience. The question is, do my porn tastes reverse? Here's the advice. Yes, absolutely. When you're done, you will know what is part of your personality and what was a purely porn-acquired fetish that you dived into only because your brain was bored and needed something new. I did keep a few fetishes that admittedly I had before getting into porn, but all the rest have disappeared. And thinking about it now either makes me angry at myself or mockingly dismissive of such nonsense, depending on my mood. Another guy says, I lost all my fetishes. Right now, the mere sight of a woman excites me. Thinking back, it ain't even a lot of time. But damn, those were some disgusting things I used to watch. Another man says, quitting will absolutely help shed fetish tastes and weird preferences that you never wanted in the first place. One of the major consequences of pornography is that it gives a distorted view of sex. I don't think there are a lot of housewives out there that are dying to have sex with the pizza guy, and likewise, I don't think there are many women out there who would be into femdom. It takes a while, but as you abstain and move away from porn and masturbating, you'll eventually reset your mind and your wants and desires will change. Also, a heads up at the beginning. It's hard. It is changing behavior that is long ingrained into you, but the benefits are amazing. Another man says, to be honest, at this point, all sexual fetishes that people have just look bizarre to me, and it doesn't matter. It's like my brain refuses to even think about it. They don't serve any purpose but to feed your ego. In the past, I would scrutinize every bit of information about anything perverted. Now I just don't even care. Anything beyond genuine intimacy with someone you really like is strange to me. So yeah, give it enough time and you'll become more like me. Then someone asks, about how does looking at other men's penises in porn videos, pounding girls, not have a psychological impact. And this person says that he got involved with watching and focusing on the man's penis, and his mind was trying to tell him that he was gay. He feels nothing wrong with gay people. He supports them and believes they have a right to love whoever. He just feels like his masculinity and his sexual orientation has been so warped and distorted by porn, and that it started to change and it was freaking him out. So, yes, for years and years and years, we have been taught that all these sexual preferences and orientations are innate, they're inborn. And this article is not saying that some of them aren't, but it is saying that some of them are not inborn. They are not innate. You create what you wanted to be attracted to by how much of that kind of porn you watch. That's what you're going to be attracted to. So you better watch out what porn you watch. And the more different or fetish related or off base or whatever you want to call it, the more it veers from any kind of normal experience that a man would be feeling proud of having, the more you're going to spiral off into the oblivion and abyss of sexual deviance. And not only that, you'll be addicted to it, and you won't be able to get pleasure from anything normal again. Thanks for listening.